Et coucou YouTube, direct Total War avant de commencer le live. De toute façon, là on est en live, donc on est au début du live. Et le live après, c'est... On est jeudi, donc le jeudi et le mardi désormais. À partir du... Combien on est parti du 25 avril 2024, c'est de retour sur les soirées raid. Donc vous pouvez me retrouver sur Twitch en soirée raid. Donc là, la semaine prochaine, c'est le caveau des incarnations sur WoW. Avec la guilde. C'est des lives où je suis un peu plus muet parce que je suis concentré dans les combats, mais en dehors des combats, si je me mets sur Discord, je peux vous répondre, il n'y a aucun souci. Allez, let's go. Gameplay nain.
Inventive, quirky, doomed.
Anything and everything
Oula, le son est peut-être un poil fort.
goes in the book.
Malakai is kind of this ranged king of a character. He buffs artillery lines and he's really good at striking from a distance.
Let's sit back, have a tea and a biscuit, and watch the fireworks.
Oui, donc il est censé être ingénieur. Donc il attaque de loin déjà.
Caught between two worlds, the slayer and glorious death, and the engineer who loves to tinker, Malakai Maitre is truly a force to be reckoned with.
Donc il se bat contre des hommes... Je sais plus comment on appelle, bordel. Donc les Norska, voilà. C'est-à-dire les hommes du
Malakai
Nord.
starts in control of Karakadrak in the giant home
Putain, j'ai hâte
mountains.
d'en apprendre plus sur cette unité là.
West and east, Rats and Kislev to the south, and a whole host of demons to the north. There's no better
Oula.
testing ground for a genius engineer with a death wish. But that's enough about me. There are munitions to enhance and airships to fly.
Côté d'un des champions de Nargal? Il y a côté de Nargal?
Many grudges to
C'est vrai
settle.
qu'il peut seulement un
And a
côté de
whole
Nargal en
buffet
fait.
of exciting adventures to sink our teeth
Oula,
into. We might even meet a
beaucoup de
glorious
choses.
death, but for now, let's deal with Dungrut
Beaucoup de
and
choses.
learn more
Attends.
about Malakai.
Qu'est-ce que c'était que tout ça là?
It's a testing ground for a genius engineer with a death wish. But that's enough about me. There are munitions to enhance and airships to fly. Many
Beaucoup de rancune à
grudges to
régler.
settle,
Ok, donc il y a le
and a
système de
whole
rancune.
buffet of exciting adventures to sink our teeth
Aventure.
into. We might even meet a
Alors,
glorious
pourquoi je
death,
peux
but
pas
for
mettre
now,
pause?
let's deal with exciting
Je vais mettre
adventures
pause
to
là-dessus. Malakai's Adventures. Face the High Wolf in battle. Donc par exemple contre les hauts elfes. Dans une montagne. Et... t'as 3 unités de canon par exemple quand tu startes cette aventure. Ah, c'est des upgrades d'unités. Intéressant déjà comme mécanique. Déjà une mécanique d'aventure en plus des rancunes.
sink
On va
our
voir.
teeth into.
Mais on va voir s'il
We
l'explique plus
might
tard.
even meet a glorious death, but for now, let's deal with Dungrut and learn more about Malakai.
Malakai is a really interesting character. He mixes being a slayer and being an engineer into a kooky little box.
Ok, donc c'est un
It's a bit of a
tueur et en
fan
même temps
favourite,
c'est
but he
un...
wasn't featured in that
ingénieur.
many Games Workshop books.
His playstyle is all around building a lot of artillery and missile units and pushing them to their limits.
Beaucoup
Malakai
d'artillerie,
is kind of
des
this
missiles,
ranged king of a
ok.
character. He buffs artillery
Pas vraiment mon
lines
genre de
and he's
gameplay,
really good
quoi.
at striking from a distance. Where he kind of falls down is in close range melee combat, where he can't really hold his own.
Là, il peut pas
You
vraiment se
might say
défendre
corner
encore.
camping is a
Dur,
cowardly
ça.
move, but I'm playing the waiting game. My cannons and gyrocopters have done some nice work, aided by Malakai's buffs. Gotrek and Felix are supporting the front line, and the Thunderers are picking off any upstarts getting too close. It's time for the main event. Let loose the spirit of Grungni.
Spirit de Grungni, qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? What? C'est... What? Ça largue des bombes. Mais c'est... Ah, c'est pas une unité le dirigeable? C'est un spell? Attends, il l'a sur le champ de bataille de base le dirigeable ou pas?
Let loose
Non, on le voit pas à cause des sous-titres. Oh, il l'a pas, c'est un spell!
the spirit of Grungni.
Non, me dites pas que le dirigeable c'est un spell!
I can only give it basic orders and it doesn't stick around for long, not yet. But that's fine by
Putain,
me.
c'est une
Let's sit back,
temporaire!
tea and a biscuit, and watch the fireworks.
Ah, c'est vrai que ça a l'air fort comme unité, mais le truc est gros, je pense que ça se fait abattre rapidement. Bon, pour Norgal au début de game, c'est sûr que bon, voilà.
Tactical advantages abound, with the spirit of Grungni forever flying above us. Design insights shortly, but first, let's nose around. Ooh, look at that. We've got building options.
Oh,
Recruitment.
wait! Oh, c'est un nain où du coup le dirigeable est tout le temps avec nous et c'est une ville. Ah, c'est un nain horde. Même s'il a pas que les hordes, il peut quand même avoir des villes visiblement. Ok.
Provides us with a limited number of units that we can recruit from anywhere on the campaign map. This also relates to any of our lords in the Spirit of Grungni's radius. Compartments aid in things like campaign movement, production, recruitment slots, unit experience, army upkeep, and increasing the time the Spirit of Grungni sticks around in battle. The Spirit of Grungni is tied to Malakai and gives him an immense advantage on the campaign map as well as in combat. Used at the right moment, and the Spirit can mean the difference between victory or defeat.
So the Spirit of Grungni is kind of this call-in power that we've never really had in Total War Warhammer before.
The Spirit of Grungni forgoes the weakness of the Thunder Barge, which is getting into position. The Spirit can drop in at any place and unleash hell.
Ah, il peut apparaître n'importe où, ouais, il peut faire très mal en bataille. Potentiellement affronter Malakai en bot, ça va être infâme. Il peut te retourner la bataille, quoi.
Also, these adventures are really thematic.
To fulfill the fantasy of a slayer, Malakai can set out on epic adventures which unlock in turn 5. But the constant pull of machinery is the lifeblood of any true Dawi, and Malakai has perfectly married these two vital parts of himself. To that end, adventures are paired with a type of unit. These units are highly recommended to use during the related adventure because when the axes are drawn, they'll give us a significant tactical advantage. We can use the higher adventure units mechanic to recruit a limited number of these units, even if we haven't unlocked them via the buildings tree. Every adventure has 6 independent objectives to complete, each upgrading the associated
donc tu les recrutes instant, gratos, même si t'as pas débloqué les bâtiments pour les avoir, si tu commences l'aventure de l'unité, quoi.
But only 3 objectives are required to unlock the legendary battle. The more we complete, the stronger our unit becomes.
Et ça booste
Malakai's campaign really plays
wow.
into the adventures he had with Gotrek and Felix. You'll be going around the world, collecting technologies and fighting these awesome battles.
And as part of that, we incentivize you to upgrade some units which will be pretty pivotal in the success in taking on that beast. Malakai is different from other Slayers. Most of them are desperate to fulfill their oath. He's got some things to tinker with before that.
As I've completed all 6 objectives, ever the overachiever, the legendary battle is unlocked. Before we go face our potential death, let's have a wee peek at the changes to the Dawi tech tree. I love trees, and now we've got 2 distinctive ones, guilds and clans.
Ah, ok, d'accord. Encore une fois, les nains, ils ont un peu le même genre que Nurgle et l'Empire, où du coup il y a plusieurs anglais, quoi. Bon, je sais plus si l'Empire ils avaient fait
Check
ça
out the
aussi.
blog to see the full changes to the dwarf factions, or stick around and watch me shoot this cannon.
Tu peux te téléporter à la bataille légendaire, donc il faut au moins 3 objectifs pour participer à la bataille, il vaut mieux améliorer les résultats, il faut quand même 10.
The cavalry sneakily trying to get to our cannons. Thankfully, we have a shield of miners.
Bon, petit extrait de bataille,
No,
jusque là
you're
ça
not
va.
supposed to go behind the miners. I'm going to pretend that's not happening and summon the spirit of Grungni.
Ah, je suis un peu déçu que ce soit pas une vraie unité, quoi.
Yep, I've really dropped the ball here. These horses aren't going down. Maybe the Thunderers can help. It could be worse. At least the dragons aren't here yet. There they are. Yeah, there they are. You know what? This is fine. We've still got 1 cannon. We only need 1. I hope.
Ah, il te reste qu'un canon. Un canon seulement face au dragon. Mais déjà le canon, je pense que c'est si fort face au dragon. Mais...
Except the dragons. Get him, Felix.
Elles ont l'air tendues les batailles quand même, hein, les batailles légendaires. Hein.
Right, well, that could have gone worse, but with the dragons dealt with, we're on the cusp of victory. 1 adventure down. A close victory means more adventures to fulfill my oath. Jamek Grimbrow, our Demon Slayer Lord, has already started around her fisticuffs with the Chaos Dwarf, so I suppose I'll start working on the Dreadquake Destruction adventure.
Ok.
And as I started a new adventure, that associated unit becomes open to me through the Higher Adventures unit tab.
Ouais, du coup, lui, tu peux avoir les trucs de
Malakai's
gratos.
fantasy is one of really two halves. He's a slayer, but he's also this eccentric genius engineer. So for players who want to tinker with all various types of dwarf technology whilst also adhering to the strict rules of the Slayer Oath, this is your guy.
I haven't mentioned it up till now, but our more perceptive viewers would have noticed the different numbers over the heads of characters and settlements. No, we're not ranking them, though Malakai's an obvious 10. This is the update to the grudge system. We wanted the grudge system to play a bigger part in dwarf campaigns and have a larger impact. To achieve this, grudges now work over a cycle of 10 turns called the Age of Reckoning.
L'âge du jugement, ok, donc une nouvelle mécanique naine, donc faut
how many grudges they've incurred. Throughout the 10-turn cycle, we want to build the highest number possible. The more grudges settled, the better our potential rewards in both campaign buffs and access to grudge settler units will be. Grudges can be incurred by different means. Someone occupying a dwarven settlement that isn't a dwarf.
Ok.
Trespassing. Raiding.
Ok.
Attacking. Looking at me funny. Asking annoying questions. Not saying thank you when I hold the door open for you last Thursday, Andrew.
Ils sont
And
trop
factions
compétents par
alliances.
contre.
Anything and everything goes in the book.
Je trouve
Speaking of, the book's had
que
a
le
small
système est
makeover.
mieux, mais
It now
avoir
has
le truc des
tabs.
8 jours,
Let's flick through them.
pas
Legendary
l'impression d'avoir
grudges
complètement
are
compris.
long-term campaign goals offering powerful rewards. Completing Retake the Realms, for example, gives you a hefty chunk of settled grudges and reopens the Underway, allowing quick and easy passage around the region. In the Legendary Lords tab, we can compare our settled grudges against our fellow Dowie and, if formidable enough, confederate them. Finally, the Grudge Settlers tab gives us an overview of all the Grudge Settler units and at what grudge level they're unlocked. Once an Age of Reckoning is done, you have the choice to take a 10-turn break from grudging or immediately jump back in, righting wrongs.
We took a look at the grudge mechanic and thought the flavor was
Alors
there.
quoi, ça
Jump
c'était
back
quoi par
in
contre?
is done. You
Ah,
have the
genre
choice to take
reckoning,
a
vous avez le choix de
10-turn
faire une
break from
pause de
grudging
10 tours ou d'enchaîner la prochaine. Ok.
or immediately jump back in, righting wrongs.
We took a look at the grudge mechanic and thought the flavor was there, but the gameplay was a little stagnant. So we've added some more dynamism to how grudges are distributed, so you can always see who needs a grudgeon.
Malakai's glorious death eludes him still, but perhaps not for much longer. We've stress-tested our gyrocopters and tweaked them silly. We're now ready to face the Dowie Tsar in a battle that will no doubt be remembered in song. Or at least interpretive dance.
Donc là il va affronter les nains du chaos, c'est ça? Avec des gyrocoptères améliorés
Time to
techniquement.
prove these Hashut-worshipping fiends are no match for a true Dowie's engineering prowess. We'll close the gap and try to tease them forward with sporadic cannon fire. But the Dowie Tsar are as stubborn as their inventions are ugly, and they hold steadfast for reinforcements. The convoys arrived, so we'll head them off with our gyrocopters.
Putain, c'est vrai que les nains du chaos, je sais pas encore jouer, mais ils ont l'air d'avoir des sales machines. Hein.
You know what, that's enough waiting. Our Doomseekers will lead the charge.
Oh wait.
Seekers will lead the charge.
Et là il a le dirigeable. Il y a une unité de dirigeable et il a encore le pouvoir pour l'appeler. Donc c'est quand même une unité. Ok.
So Doomseekers are kind of like this elite Slayer unit, think aspiring champions, but on the dwarf roster, they have this ability where if you push the button, they just spin around and deal loads and loads of damage. So with their dual chain axes, they're really going to cause some havoc.
Oh, ils sont cool.
Spinning! That's a good trick. One our Dragon Slayer hero unfortunately can't employ against such a massive foe. This unbreakable anti-large melee expert is committed only to a glorious death. But not today. Not with the Demon Slayer on the prowl.
Demon Slayers are kind of like these chaff blender units, and what we mean by that is they're great at taking out large groups of condensed infantry.
Ouais.
Oh, look out, here comes Garagrim Iron Fist, your legendary hero.
My favourite thing about Garagrim Iron Fist is that his axes are chained to his arms so he doesn't lose them.
An anti-infantry melee specialist, Garagrim's quite fast. For a dwarf.
Ouais, elle va commencer, j'essaie de finir vite
The
fait.
front line's getting a little hot for the Thunderers. We'll pour them
Pire, je
back.
reprends juste après. En vrai, on sait où ça s'arrête, je reprends juste après, là je vais rejoindre le raid. Ah, on a lancé trop tard, je pensais être dans les temps, j'ai dû faire trop de pauses. Bon, on reprend tout à l'heure le react. Je garde ici, et après le raid, on regarde. Hop là, donc pendant qu'on est en pause en raid, là, on reprend le react. Là où on en était, je sais même plus, on était en pleine bataille.
Thunderers are dwarfs that are trained in the use of firearms. Thunderers have been in the game since Warhammer 1, but now we're introducing a weapon option that allows them to...
Une option d'arme pour sa unité.
Away from the bulk of the battle, our gyrocopters and the Spirit make short work of the incoming reinforcements. A good thing too, because we've just unleashed the Slayer pirates.
Les tueurs pirates. Mais pourquoi toujours des pirates là? C'est bon, dégagez-moi ça.
Kind of these cutlass and pistol wielding badasses that drink rum filled with gunpowder and iron filings. So
Pas grave, c'est une unité qui existe depuis longtemps. Bon, c'est pas.
We didn't quite manage to
Je trouve ça tellement dommage d'avoir mis des pirates, genre.
that's not a pun. And it's wreaking havoc with the Thunderers. Time for the Goblin Hewer.
the Goblin here is a spinning construction of death and mayhem that fires.
Incroyable ça en vrai. Incroyable quand même.
Completed though, it's also crewed by slayers, which then run headlong into the battle.
Ok. Ah, pourquoi pas. Ah, c'est drôle ça.
Help, we've managed to pull the Grim Delvers back. At a shanty from the long-drong Slayer pirates. And a war cry.
Par contre, ceux-là, ils sont trop cool.
And the front line is all but secure. Let's unleash the Thunderbarge.
The Thunderbarge is the ultimate expression of dwarven air power. It's got 2 cannons, it's got loads of gunners on it, it's got 4 bomb bays, and it's also got a giant harpoon that it can fire from the main balloon part.
What the fuck?
And it's really going to change the face of the dwarf playstyle.
Demon-infused war machines. Foul has shut magic. Pathetic.
Mais en vrai, le Zeppelin a tellement de trucs, genre c'est une dinguerie.
The might of Malakai Maitre.
Bon.
Alas, our victory falls hollow for the master of innovation.
Quelle monstruosité cette armée. Sur cette unité-là.
Escaped Malakai once more, and we can only curse our exceptional talent for this grave what's this? Could it be? Was this the last of Malakai Maitre's adventures? Has it been the glorious end he has so desperately sought?
C'est tellement marrant qu'ils scriptent des trucs comme ça, genre c'est trop drôle.
Thoughts? Comments?
En vrai, c'est trop bien scripté leur vidéo de gameplay, c'est incroyable. J'adore. J'adore. GG Games Workshop, je joue à Petite Léna aussi. Eh bah non. En vrai, les 3 factions sont à tester tellement, mais Nain et Norgal sont les plus hype. C'est cool, c'est cool. Sur ce, à la prochaine, n'oubliez pas de vous abonner à YouTube, n'oubliez pas la cloche, n'oubliez pas de vous abonner à TikTok, n'oubliez pas de vous abonner à mon Twitter pour savoir quand je live, se follow sur Twitch histoire de suivre les lives, avoir les informations, enfin les notifications surtout quand je live, quand vous êtes sur Twitch. Et puis voilà, à la prochaine.